It's pretty wild how a single new word can tell you so much about what's happening to our planet. Sometimes language literally has to race to keep up with reality. And in Japan, well, they've just been forced to do exactly that. So here it is. The word is Kokushobi. Japan's meteorological agency just unveiled it, and it's now the official term for a day that hits a blistering 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 Fahrenheit. This is a whole new category of heat, folks, one they never even needed, until now. And trust me, this isn't just some dry technical term. Just listen to how it translates. Cruelly hot, brutally hot, or severely hot. You can feel the weight of those words, right? It paints a picture of heat that isn't just uncomfortable, it feels, well, actively hostile. It really makes you stop and ask, why would an entire country need to invent such an extreme word for the weather? Well, a word like that doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was born from some cold, hard, and in this case, incredibly hot data. So let's dive into the numbers that made this term an absolute necessity. And here's the core reason. The summer of 2025, it wasn't just another scorcher. It was, quite simply, the hottest summer Japan has ever recorded. That one historic heat wave was the direct catalyst, the final push for creating Kokushobi. And just to give you some perspective on what "since records began" really means, we're not talking about the last decade or two. Nope. Japan's official temperature records go all the way back to 1898. So we're talking about a heat wave that absolutely shattered more than 125 years of data. It wasn't just a little hotter either. The average temperature across the entire country that summer was a full 2.36 degrees Celsius above the norm. I mean, that is a massive jump. It's a huge red flag that something was fundamentally different about the weather. So, what did that actually feel like for people on the grounds? Let's look at days over 35 degrees Celsius. That's about 95 Fahrenheit. In Tokyo, they had to endure 25 of them, when their average is usually around 4 or 5. And then look at Kyoto, a staggering 52 intensely hot days. Their average is about 18. That's nearly triple. It just shows you how prolonged and widespread this whole thing really was. Now, here's what's really interesting. This new word wasn't just some one-off decision. It's actually the newest addition to a very well-established system Japan already uses to classify and warn people about its hottest days. Think of it like a ladder of heat. Japan already had official names for days over 25, 30, and 35 degrees Celsius. But last summer, the temperatures literally went off their own chart. They had to add a new, higher, more dangerous rung to the very top of the ladder. And that new rung, that's Kokushobi. And get this wasn't some quiet top-down decision. It turned into a national conversation. The government actually ran a survey to pick the new term and got almost 500,000 responses. That massive number tells you this isn't just a weather statistic for people, it's a deeply felt, society-wide concern. And it's kind of funny to see what it was up against. Among the other options was something that translates to super extremely hot day. But no, the public chose Kokushobi, a name that sounds serious and severe. It's a word that truly reflects the harshness of this new reality. Okay, so this is where we zoom out because while the word itself is Japanese, the story it's telling is absolutely global. This isn't just about Japan anymore. It's about a pattern we're seeing all over the world. And the context for this points directly to that bigger trend. These extreme weather events, like these crazy heat waves, they're becoming more frequent and way more intense everywhere. And this is a phenomenon that's widely seen as being fueled by human activities, especially the burning of fossil fuels, which is changing our climate. So why does a new word on the other side of the planet really matter to us? Well, because language is like a mirror. It evolves to describe the reality we're actually living in. And when we find ourselves needing to invent new, more extreme words just to describe the temperature outside, that's one of the loudest alarm bells you can get, that our environment is changing in a really big way. It really forces you to think, doesn't it? Japan is the first country to officially add a word for this cruelly hot level of heat to its vocabulary. But as temperatures keep smashing records all over the globe, it leaves us with one last, pretty sobering question. Will your country be next?